it's going to be a quick video showing you how to upjet and strip a Lexmoto Venom carburetor, or any 125 carburetor really. First, I've got to start with taking this protection plate off, so I'll cut that bit out because that bit will be pretty boring, and I'll continue the video in a second. Right, that's done. Next, first thing you want to do is just take the air filter off. If you've got an air box, it's going to be quite a bit harder because you've got to bend it out of the way and all that, and it's quite annoying. Right, first what we want to do is we want to drain the carb. So we'll get a mug. There's the jet I'll be using. So 1010 jet. Right. It's quite hard to do this with one hand. So, to drain the carb, the little screw is right there. So what we want to do is just crack that. You want to turn the fuel off before you do this. Right, there it is, all empty. You see the fuel in there, little bits in it. So, take this off to get it out of the way. Right. Now, next thing you got to do is obviously you'll just have a nut on a bolt there, and on the other side, like in there. Obviously, all my threading went, so it's going to be a bit hard for me. So what I'll have to do is, this is what you want to start off doing. Now the carburetor is empty. Start on doing this, and once I've undone it, I'll pause the video and I'll start it again. Right, that side's done. I don't need to screw it out all the way because there's no point really, it's not attached anymore. But however, a little tip, this side is really tricky because that is really hard to get into. Once you finish screwing it off, it'll fall off, end up falling down there, and you've got to take off this casing. So that's really tricky, so proper fiddly, but it's not too bad. So what I start doing is just start undoing that, same as the other side, but I recommend always starting with the other side, the side I started with first, because if it's easier if you can pull the car back a little bit so you can get the nut out. It's just a little bit easier and less fiddly. So once I've undone all this, and I'll continue the video again. Right, they're all off now. What you want to do now is just slide the carb off them bolts, and there you go. What you want to do now is you want to unscrew the 3 bowl screws and then take the bowl off. So there's one there, and there's one behind in there. Right, there you go, all them are undone, so you just want to carefully take the bowl off, just pour out any excess fuel, and there you go. Just lift this up like that. That there is your main jet. That there is your pilot jet. It's a bit messed up. That's your fuel mixture screw, and here's obviously your float. So what you start off doing is just undoing this. So I'll do that now. Sometimes this will happen, but the whole main jet has come out. All you need to take out is this end bit. But if it's a bit too tight and the whole thing comes out, you should want to get adjustable wrench, tighten that in there, then undo it off like you would. I'll do that now. Right, there we go. It's undone. So you should unscrew this now. And there it is. This one's a 108, which I was at. And I'm now going to be putting this 1010 on. So, same as before, you screw that in there. You don't need to do it tight in this, because you'll tighten it up in the carb. So just do it finger tight there, Now tighten it in the carb, and you want to get flathead. And tighten that up as much as you can, not too much because you don't want to break it, because it's only brass. So there, as tight as it will go. There's the 110. There it is. Do the clean. What we'll do now is we'll clean it. Right, what you want to do now is get some degreaser or carb cleaner. Same thing really. Just spray the bowl up, get all the residue out. Obviously let it dry off and give it a wipe before you put it back on. Give it a good clean. Set that aside. Now what we'll do in the carb, just give it a good spray everywhere. Now what we'll do is we'll let that dry and I'll give it a wipe down. Make sure there's not really any of it left in the bowl or anything. You want to dry it all off first and then put it back together. Right, I'll give it a wipe down, it's all dry. Brand new, clean. All in there, all done. So what you want to do now is just stick the bowl back on. Be careful doing this, because if you knock the float as you're putting it on and stick it up like that, it'll just piss fuel out everywhere, so you've got to be careful, make sure the float stays down. Right, there it's on. But what you want to do now is just screw in the 3 screws again, all the way around, and then you're pretty much nearly done. Right, the bowl's back on now. Next you want to just slide it back onto them bolts, or the threaded things, forget the name of them now. And then you should screw it all back in here like you do, just to reverse what you do before. So obviously mine's a bit different because I've got different nuts, but put that back on there and then put the filter back on, sort everything out, and then you're done. This is the really fiddly part, getting this nut back on to that there. You've all dropped it already. There we go, that's all done now. All bolted back on. And now, you want to start a bike, doesn't matter if it's got the filter on or not. It'll take a few tries because the fuel will still be filling it back up. So what you want to do now is you want to make sure you screw that back in, turn the fuel back on, and then give it a go. And then give it a few revs to get the fuel back in it. So there you go, it's trying, it's filling up the fuel now. Not just yet. There we go. Perfect. But what I'll also do is I'll show you how to adjust the needle in here. So I'll do that now. What you want to start doing is, what I do is I turn the fuel off at this bit just in case, just to be safe. So you want to begin with undoing this here. I use a screwdriver for a bit of leverage. So what you want to do is just undo this. It might pop out a little bit. Right, there you go, with the spring. Now, sit you down there. Just want to pull the cylinder out. And now, here is the cylinder and the needle. So what you want to do now is compress that spring. It's a little bit fiddly. You want to be careful in doing this because I've actually lost the little pin retainer thing before. So what you want to do now is, what I do is I just get it, push the little retainer out, and then there's your pin. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to put that against the surface, put your finger on top of it, and pop the little retainer thing off, as you can see. And how I work is in the middle, so I'm going to keep it there. So I'll put it against something solid, click it back on. It's back on. there. And what this is the, I think it's one, like the first bit of the throttle, like the first quarter throttle, this affects the fueling for. So yeah, and then what you want to do is just slide it back in to the little hole in there, get your little retainer thing, and then click that in. So it's like that, you can see it. There you go. And then this is a little bit fiddly now. What you've got to do is you've got to lay that aside, pull the little wire out. You've got to make sure that wire goes through the spring, like that. Angle the camera a bit. Then you've got to get the wire out. This, you've got a proper grip onto it. You can put the wire or the cable through that hole and then pull it down along there, and then it'll click back in. So then this side here should be pointing on the opposite side of the carb like that for it to drop down in the cylinder, because what I've seen people doing is they can't get this in right. You've got to spin it all the way around until it drops in, and sometimes it'll drop in halfway. So you'll start the bike because you think it's fine, and it'll be on full RPM, full rev, so you'll start the bike and it'll rev up to 10,000 RPM. So you got to make sure that this slide is right at the bottom. So what you want to do is just be careful, you don't want to break the needle or anything. You just want to whack that back in there, and then spin it around a bit until you get it. There you go, it's gone right down. Screw this back on. And then if you know anything about carbs, and if you're tuning your bike, you'll want to put your needle position on it, whichever one you want to do, like say if you're doing trial and error tuning. So I keep mine in the middle, but that's just my preference. On your bike, if you have different sort of mods and all that, it could be different for you, or if you've got a different bike. There you go, that's done. So you just want to put the filter back on. Everything about messing with your carb is quite fiddly, so you've got to make sure keep all the little parts, little screws which come out in a safe place so you don't get lost, because you have to buy full carb rebuild kits if you do lose them. But yeah, that is about it. That's fine now. Start it up again. There you go. Cold start straight away. There you go, that's it. Done. Thanks for watching. Another thing I'd like to add, if you do this yourself and you break something, you lose something, or you try starting the bike, it won't start, or you have some sort of problem, then it won't be down to me, it'll be down to yourself. As you can see, what I've done's worked, it's right. If it bogs out or anything like that, you'll know either it's the wrong jet or something like that, or there's an air leak or anything like that. How you can check for air leaks is spraying WD-40 all over the carb, and if the RPMs pick up suddenly when you spray it on, you know you've got an air leak somewhere. But I don't accept any reliability or responsibility for anyone else doing this. It's just an educational video. So yeah, if it does bog out at a certain RPM range, then you know it's a wrong jet or something like that. So what you want to do is doing the jetting and the fueling in your car is trial and error, so you just got to keep trying different ones if it's not right. Thanks for watching.